Hello, everybody. Welcome to FatKings.
It goes live that quick.
I guess it does now. FatKings in the flesh for our 5-year retrospective, I guess would be our.
Do we share this on things? Like, do you put it on? Oh, you on Facebook?
No, I don't. So you'll have to link it up on the. You'll have to link it up from Facebook on the YouTubes. I mean, yeah.
I'll do that while you introduce us.
Yeah. So we're gonna.
Look what time we started. Too.
Oh God. We're in Colorado and we started at 4:20. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, so basically we're going to go through kind of who we are, reintroduce ourselves, kind of relaunch the channel in a lot of ways because 5 years we're kind of not really well known anymore. We're not very relevant. So, but yeah, we both had BSG surgery about 5 years ago. So mine will be 5 years in July 16th, and yours is somewhere in September.
It's September, but I don't know when. I want to say September 13th.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Maybe that's why I always think mine's July 13th because yours was September 13th. I don't know, it doesn't matter. So we're going to go through, we'll kind of introduce ourselves, what made us make the choice to kind of get here, and just kind of, let you guys know who we are in case you're new to the scene, which most of you probably are. So,
or you could be old to the scene and we're just older.
Like right? That's true. That's true. Oh, geez. Oh, let's see. There's we're using the new. Obviously, the chat is up and available for anybody who actually accidentally sees us live, but we did not announce it or make any plans to. We were originally just going to record it, and then we're like, well, there's no danger in that.
No,
we can't say something stupid.
We can't say something really bad.
Yeah, so TJ and I met. We were just talking about this back in about late 2004, really 2005. After I'd moved out to Colorado, and we were working for a little company here that did websites for mortgage and real estate originators. And kind of just became friends, and you were. I don't think you quite really gained a lot of weight at that point. You were still.
No, I was. I think I was hovering more around like the 250, 260.
Yeah. So me being his fat friend was a bad influence, and but no, over the years we kind of just you gained a little weight, and we started like realizing there wasn't a lot of cool clothes out there for fat guys, and so we started thinking, we'll create a line of clothing for fat guys, and we'll call it Kings. So that's kind of where FatKings originally came from. I'm trying to center this up in the shot. Sorry, there we go. So we started that, and that's where FatKings kind of came to be. But we're like, well, we gotta promote the brand. We gotta make the brand mean something. FatKings is a mean thing without some branding. So we started doing a video podcast on a regular basis about
being fat, acceptance of fat.
Yeah, or the hypocrisy of the stupid diets, like having your tongue fucking stapled and stun guns put in your fucking stomach.
That you would.
Oh, the port where you could empty out your food after you ate it. Oh God!
And then there was like a flap that you would sew to your tongue.
And then there was a stun gun you had sewn into your stomach, so it would stun you.
Yeah.
So we would cover all this shit, and that's where if you go back and look at some of TJ's old, well, I can't say anymore, but some of our old. We had a blooper reel where we were talking about sugar alcohol.
I think I left that. I think I left the blooper reel out.
People who shit themselves.
Yeah, we actually had a conversation because I started Atkins way back when we first met, and I was like, man, I really miss sweets. And he goes, oh, well, they have these Atkins bars. I'm like, they do, and you can just eat those. He's like, yeah. So I ate like 4 of them. That's not good on your stomach. No, it was bad.
We were talking about other things that because I've been so clean in my keto eating, I ate some sugar-free ice creams. I enlightened, and that sugar alcohols. I was in the bathroom for many hours. It was bad, and almost as bad as those damn Jelly Bellies, those sugar-free Jelly Bellies I was telling you about.
I just think it's good that we're doing the 5-year update show, and I'm eating a hamburger and
right. His second helping of it.
A second helping.
But we went and grabbed burger over at this burger place here, and good food. So I did mostly bunless. He had the bun, but whatever. It's like that's good stuff. So all right, so let's touch base real quick. So why don't you just kind of recap like where you kind of started and never you were eating. So okay, a lot of you guys know I've been sticking it out a little longer, but I started. Basically, I've been heavy my whole life pretty much, and then I got my high weight was 360. I started kind of working my way down on my own. TJ and I did stuff like 800 calorie liquid diets together. I mean, we did some crazy doctor monitored ones. I'd lose 50 pounds and then I'd stop. That was just pretty much my modus operandi. And then working out regularly, eating 1,200 calories, doctor supervised a whole bit, couldn't budge off the point, like over the 330 mark. So we'd been very anti stomach surgery, but weight loss surgery. But
Yeah,
TJ kindly came up with, he found out about the sleeve, which we had not ever talked about. And we started talking about that. And I think at that point I was at the point of like, well, for me, it was like, I got to be here for the next 10 years to get these kids through high school. And then after that, if I die, I die. Or if I start having complications and I can't do shit, oh well. I mean, it sucks, but that's just going to be my life. Or I need to do something drastic. So that was kind of where I was like, either I'm going to do something drastic or I'm just going to accept that I got 10 years and that's all I really need.
Yeah.
And that's what brought me to the conversation of VSG. So.
And then I think I went to, did I go to the seminar first or did you?
Yeah,
I went to the seminar, yeah. And I just went to it, I heard about the sleeve and I dismissed it like right away. I was like, nah, I just want to get gastric. And then I went to the seminar and I was like, I want the sleeve, like the sleeve, I want it tomorrow. I had thought about the lap band, but for me, it would have never worked.
No, it wouldn't work for me either.
No.
I think it would have been. I think I would have believed it was going to work, and it would have worked initially. But then it would have had all the same problems a lot of people have had, and then I would have given up because I was just like, well, I can't even get it right with surgery. I'm a fucking fuck up. That's what I think it would have done to my head. So, yeah.
So what about your stats? Did you give your stats?
So I started surgery at 332. I got down to 210.4 within 51 weeks. 20. No, wait a second. Yeah, it was 51 weeks. 51 weeks because by 52, my 1 year, I had already hit goal. So, so that was good. Lots of crazy shit along the way. As a matter of fact, I just went through and watched every single one of my videos from the start all the way to the end, which I'll be recapping when I do my own videos. But yeah, that was crazy. And
we got through 3 of mine and had to stop.
We were crying. It was bad. But yeah, no. So that's kind of where I was at. Where did you end up at?
So I started at 352. Like my background was I'm not a lifetime fat.
That's right. You're not in the real club. Okay.
I think there's something to that, which I had that lately I've been reflecting a lot more on the stuff maybe that I said or that I did or the perceptions I had then versus now. And I was very dismissive of a lot of things that I ended up being wrong on. So I think there is something to lifetime fat versus not. But anyway, I wasn't lifetime fat. I was fat as a kid. And then I grew tall. And then whenever I grew tall, I thinned out. And then from there, I was good until mid-20s, started putting on weight. By the time I was like 26, 27, I think, I was getting like 245. I was like, man, I'm starting to get fat. And then I just slowly kept climbing all the way up to 352. That's where I was at. And then had the surgery. The lowest I ever got was after surgery was 199. I was 199 for 1 day. I didn't mean to do it. It just happened. The story of my life.
I was 201 for about a week, and I was freaking out. Yeah, I couldn't imagine anything under 200, let alone being as low as I was. Like I really started to have a panic attack where I was like, I can't go under 200. I mean, what does that mean for me? Like and I already looked like a fucking bobblehead at that point. So I was like, oof.
I see pictures of me and I don't, because at that point I wasn't doing any jujitsu. I wasn't doing any kind of exercise a lot at all. So I didn't have any muscularity.
No, me too.
So it was like a model, right? Like skinny fat.
Super skinny fat, yeah.
And I would just look pale, and I just didn't look good. But anyway, so now I'm at 216, 215 in there. But the good thing is I'm at 77% body fat.
That's insane.
So that's a low, but
it's really good.
Last week I worked out. I did jujitsu, so I'm doing combative exercise for 8 sessions last week. And so you get to a point where I feel like I don't know, maybe we're jumping right into it too soon, but like you get to a point where the body fat and the muscle and the exercise revs the metabolism up so high that you're just burning through anything that you eat. So really I could eat anything I want right now. And I continue to lose, and it's almost a hindrance because if I don't consume 3,000, 4,000 calories in a day, I will continue to lose weight to an unhealthy level. Like I was telling you, I don't feel good. Right. I feel like I need more fat.
And we're talking about this with a lot of competition bodybuilders. So I will say, hands down, right out of the gates, weight loss is 80% in the kitchen, 20% if you're lucky in the gym. Like even then, I think that's generous. But when you get to that level where you're competing and you're constantly going like a bodybuilder getting ready for a show or somebody like you getting ready for a fight, eating has got to be a full-time job because it's like you are constantly burning insane amounts of calories and your energy is critical. So you can get away with it. So there is a tipping point where you can get to the level of exercise where food is no longer the driving factor. But all in all, I think for most people out there, unless you're at that level, 80% in the kitchen at least. So, but that's an interesting point because I have friends who are bodybuilders for bulk and they eat almost 10,000 calories a day. It's insane.
Yeah, you got
7,000, 8,000 calories.
So like this last week, because I started cutting for a competition I have because I'm on vacation now for 11 days, but I get back on the 11th and then I compete on 14th. So I only have 3 days. So I was like, well, I got to get in a lot of training. I got to get my weight down as low as possible. And so I've been consuming 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. So I started logging on MyFitnessPal again just to see where I was at. Pete is still there logging every freaking day.
That's good.
He's the only one that I saw, at least on my friends list. Right. He's logging everything, all his exercise, everything.
Nice. I don't log my exercise anymore. I just log my food.
Yeah, he logs everything, like how much his piss weighed, the color of his shit. It's all on there. So you should check out Pete's. Pete's mind.
Pete and the guy in Australia. I'm gonna screw up his name. But those two guys have taken it to the extreme. Like they're super lean, super muscular. The guy in Australia, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, brother, but ads, I won't say ABZ something. I could look it up, but he's competing, running, bodybuilding. He looks freaking super lean. I'm talking like 2-3% body fat. I mean, he looks it's crazy to go from being like stung like a bee down to that. And like I'm somewhere way between there. So
yeah, I mean, so where was I going? I was just going with that. So I started logging and I was taking in between 2,000 and 3,000 calories a day, and I still lost 6 pounds last week. So I got to be careful when I do that. You have to up it. And
that's crazy because I ate last week. I say on average in a day 1,000 calories, plus or minus probably about 100. And I'm pretty sure I'll be down 3 pounds per week, which was my goal. My goal was to lose weight. I ended up wanting to lose 3 pounds in a week, but I'll take it because I was already pretty much carb flushed at that point. But again, I'll go into more of that.
Well, and I get in trouble with carbs. Like if I don't consume enough carbs, I feel it. I understand that there's these keto things and stuff, and it's weird because I see athletes will try. The only people that are more like freaked out about eating and their body is athletes, other than fat people. Like fat people, you're worried about everything like that. The athletes, they are just the same. They're every fad diet, they're trying it. Anything to give them that little bit of an edge. But I see these guys, they go on these keto diets or intermittent fasting, and they have phenomenal results. I tell you, if I try to cut out carbs, I feel it. Like I feel sick. I can't function. I'm just not a person that does well on that.
I am hands down believe that there are different metabolisms and body types for a reason, and that and I can take this back even to kind of more of a obvious thing, but that some people just can live without carbs, and some people just can't. Like it's just, I know people that they start doing low carb and they look like shit, they feel like shit, they just crash out. And to me, it's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. Like so. So
yeah, so there's something to it, just like intermittent fasting. I haven't done it yet because the problem is when I do something, I want all the science. I want to do it how it was intended to do, not the McFad version of it.
Sure.
And intermittent fasting has a lot of good value to it, but like Jenny, my wife, she did it, and she did it the way you're supposed to do with the eating. She didn't change what she ate, just her time frame of eating. And I think she was doing 16 hours off and 8 on. But she did it hardcore for a few weeks and she gained 2 pounds. But I know other people that they didn't do that. So it's like, well, what's the science? What is it different for your normal person compared to an athlete? Because I see athletes go on it and they do great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just hard to say. But that's one of the things that I thought about using.
So to take it back to 5 years ago, we were just watching some of the videos, man. So it's just where. Kind of put if you can, kind of put people in the mindset of where you were at the 5 years ago when you were like getting ready to do this, as far as like some of your conceptions and things you're worried about. I know your doctor tried to push you into back into RNY.
Yeah, my doctor tried to put me in RNY because he said I just wouldn't get the weight loss. So it was funny because I was watching the video, and so after talking with my doctor and their specialist and like going through the whole consult, I thought my best case, if I busted ass, was 250.
Wow.
and there's no way to get below that unless I got RNY.
Wow. Yeah, because my doctor said, oh, you'll do well with this. You'll get down about 250 for you. That should be good. And I'm like, that's not enough.
Right.
I'm going further. And even when I went in and saw him, I think later, as I was getting closer, he's like, oh, well, you're probably good right here, 230. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going down to 210. Like, this is not enough. So weird. I mean, you're right, though. I think it takes you so far, but the skills you learn along the way, if you keep applying those skills, you can push it to where you really feel like you want to be. I mean, I think.
Well, and I think we talked about it a little bit beforehand while we were at lunch, and that's So I would agree with what my doctor told me. I think just the surgery would have got me to 250. So anything from 250 on is my effort. So I would say, the surgery is probably good for 50 to 80 pounds, let's say, depending on how much you have to lose.
Right.
If you got 500 pounds to lose, your numbers are on. So if you do the math on that.
Well, I wouldn't even do sleeve if you had that much to lose. I think then I would do RNY.
I think I do a duodenal switch.
Yeah, actually, if I was 500 pounds over, 500, 600 pounds, I definitely.
I think that's the best one for weight loss. Now, I don't think it's the right one for long-term lifestyle. I think there's a lot of side effects to that I wouldn't like. Yeah. But if you just want to lose the most amount of weight and you need to get healthy quick, I think DS is like.
Yeah, and then I would say the 200. I've always said 100 pounds to lose, sleep is good. Beyond that, although we've seen people do better than that with sleep. I'd say 200 pounds, 100 to 200 pounds to go. Maybe you start looking at RNY for sure, 200 pounds RNY. Beyond that, I think you're right. Yes, it's like if you're that, you're like on death's door if you're 300 pounds overweight. So
well, and I think something that you have to look at is the surgery will I'm not trying to be philosophical. I like coming up with things. But the surgery will work for you, but will you work for the surgery? So it's. Yeah, I mean, the surgery is going to get you so far. Then the rest is up to you. But the good thing is, at least from what I found, is that the surgery doesn't ever go away. Even if I abuse my stomach and I consume too much and I would do what people say, stretching out the stomach, as long as I go back to it, it does come back down.
That is absolutely
been my experience.
I agree.
And I went hard. I mean, I went from 207 back up to 250, like one.
Yeah, I think my high was 236. My lowest, my goal is 210. My lowest was, like I said, 201. I think 215 was about the right spot with a little bit of muscle, which was good. Just looking at pictures. But 236, I was freaking the fuck out. Just freaking out. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm ruining it all. I'm going backwards. And you get all that mental bullshit that goes with it too. So I'm sitting at 228 now. My goal is still to get down to 220, 215 again. And
I think it's okay to chew gum.
Yeah, absolutely. What are they gonna do? They're unsubscribe? Whatever. I'm
in Colorado.
Obviously,
with Phil. So I had access to a lot of edibles that are a little stronger than what I remember. So he had to sit me on his couch for a while.
Talk him down a little bit.
I was ready to stand up enough. But if you look, you can't look back at my videos because I made them all private. But if you look back at all of them, I'm high as fuck anyway. But the reason I made those private is because I compete. I do jiu-jitsu for those who don't know me, which is everybody. And so people started Googling my name and YouTubing my name for tournament results and stuff, and then they started seeing all the old stuff. And it wasn't that I have any shame in my surgery, because I still openly admit to people I had surgery. When people found out I was fat, how did you do it? I tell them. So I'm not ashamed of the surgery. I made the videos private because of the content.
Right.
That was personal stuff. Some of it was really relevant to the time that it was made. So do I want to intermingle that with my new life now? No, but that's not the surgery. That's just the personal
just the stuff. So. Yeah, I know. So that's one thing I think. So just to tag back on one thing, and then I'll move on. But like, we know people who've had the surgery who were not. When you said you have to be ready for the surgery, and the surgery will serve you, but you have to work the surgery. We know people who had filet-o-fish sandwiches as soon as they could eat solids, and we know people who were literally eating Taco Bell in the recovery room, which I don't know how that's even possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
But because I would have died. But I mean, that person was not ready. I don't know how they get through the cracks. And this will tie back later to something I want to talk about when we get to that. This might go a little long, but so during the losing phase, I think the thing that I don't think you and I was watching for this in the videos. I don't think you and I ever got super cocky on video, but I think that everybody hits that point of like, oh, I totally got it now. I know what I was doing wrong. I'm an expert at this now. Do you remember ever having that kind of?
Yeah, I think I know. And it's funny because there's a 3-year video that I did that never was aired.
Right.
And so I interviewed you, Tanya, John, my wife, Lacey.
Oh wow!
Remember that
right.
in New Orleans?
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago.
Holy crap!
So I interviewed it all, and then I started editing it. And the reason I didn't publish it is because it ended up being something very personal to me. Like the questions were very much, how did my journey impact your journey, sort of stuff.
Yeah, so good for you to have. But
It was good for me, but the more I watched it, the more I felt it was more personal. You know, which it was stuff I just wanted to know. I mean, it wasn't bad information. It's probably good for everybody to hear. Where's I going with that? What were we talking about?
We were just talking about like the whole like getting cocky about it.
Oh yeah, so yeah, everybody. So I asked everybody because everybody did the interview in the room separate from each other, so nobody knew what the answers were given by everybody. But everybody said the same progression. Right. Everybody had, and that was in there. That I know everything. I have cracked the code. But I feel like I definitely went through that. Was I cocky? I think I got cocky to a certain extent, but I think that's just my personality.
I was saying that's hard to tell because that's your your funny haha like you like to pull that out to even for your joking, so it's kind of hard to tell where that line gets crossed.
But I do feel like I knew more than other people, and I think I was dismissive of other people in the community that were saying something like we were talking about Adam Shoup.
Yeah,
like Adam Shoup.
Well, that's a good point.
He had a presentation that I was very opposed to, which made it to where I couldn't hear what he was trying to say.
So the way he said it cut you off to the message.
Yeah, just the fact because he was coming from a very godly standpoint, which feels very holier now, above everybody. And I'm an atheist, so they didn't mix. But I felt like he had a valid concern with the amount of drinking and enabling and some of the stuff we did. Was it his place to tell us? Was it his place to call us out in public? I think maybe took some offense to. You know, like if he messaged me privately and been like, hey man, like I know me and you don't necessarily get along, but so I think he had good intentions, and I felt like maybe I shouldn't have dismissed him as much as I should have. I mean, he was a douchebag to a certain extent, but I feel like I was overly dismissive.
I think that dovetails into something you said at lunch too. Like you kind of need to keep one person in your life that keeps you.
Oh yeah, and I think that's we all need that, right? And you need somebody who's just going to be bluntly honest with you and tell you, no, you're fucking up. No, you shouldn't do that. I mean, you can't have somebody who's tagging along. Like, I couldn't have been that person for anybody because I was right there with the mix. But a me-like person who's an asshole, they don't care if you get offended. They're just going to tell you the way it is. You need that person in your life just to check it. I mean, if you go, hey, no, I'm cool, then.
Yeah, it needs to be somebody close to you already, though. It can't be somebody just from the outside like Adam. I think when you said that today, I was like, Adam really did have a good point. And I think we talked about it, but it's by the time you and I kind of got a little more, what I call it the second puberty. And that's a real thing, man. Like you're burning off all that fat and all that stored up free testosterone is coming back out. And I know the girls have it too. And just like, you've got this angstiness and cockiness and you're feeling good. And you're starting to like feel like you're attractive or whatever, attractive again, because the case may be. You do get that kind of like swagger and cockiness, and you do like kind of flirt with it, and then you are partying and having a good time. But you and I were almost at goal when we started getting really kind of like into the more like started our drinking, but going back to drinking and going back to partying a little bit. I had 15 pounds ago. I think you were already at goal. So I mean, like, and we were just coming off that first year, which was the high. You're still so easy in that first year, man. It's so easy. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Man.
But it's like there were so many mistakes made that can maybe upset me, but at the same time not. It's just like I think it had to travel the course it was. The only way things could be as good as the way they are right now, they had to have gone through that.
Yeah, I agree. Because there was a lot of there. I mean, for all the stuff that's out there on videos that I still have up. I mean, I've made a couple private too because I realized maybe I had some poor choices in framing. But again, it was not the message. It was me trying to get the laugh or go the extra mile. A little too far sometimes. But I think. I knew what was going on in the background. So everything I was putting out there was 90% true or 92% true, but there was the critical 8% or the critical 10% in the background that I wasn't making public a lot of the times that was really impacting a lot of that stuff. So I was worried that the message I was putting out is being received semi as I intended it, but people didn't realize behind the building, behind the camera, that things were on fire. And like my life wasn't as together as I had it maybe looked on the outside. I wasn't trying to say it was, but I certainly wasn't presenting the bad stuff either. So I think it's always a risk when you're out there trying to counsel people or give them, not counsel, but say, hey, here's my experience, but I'm not giving you all this. I'm not telling you about how my marriage is fucking on fire and you know, like I caught myself in a situation I never would have been in or whatever, you know, like, so it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's crazy. So I had a couple of things I was gonna do I was gonna try and put a 50 Shades together, but I figured it'd be better if we did it. So
hold on, there's something I had.
Okay, go ahead.
There's wrong I have to write. And it bothered me for a while.
Oh,
actually,
wow,
believe it or not. And it was because I try to say things sometimes, I just don't say it right. And one of them was, you know, and I thought of this because Mel had asked, she's the only one who asked the question, if she was our favorite Aussie or if she has to fight with John.
Right.
So I'm not going to answer that question. But the thing that was spawned from that was I had made the statement that all Aussie men look like they have Down syndrome.
Is that really? Did you really say that?
I really said that, and I feel like that was the beginning of the end of me and Tanya's friendship.
Oh no, that's so.
I think that's what kicked it off. I mean, it is her husband, but that's not what I was saying. I was not saying they look like they have Down syndrome. I was saying that like their the eyes were set a little closer together.
It's just like as a geographical
right.
kind of.
Not that it's a bad thing or it looks weird, but I didn't say it that way.
Right. Oh God, it's terrible.
So I just said all Aussie men look like they have Down syndrome. So my apologies to John and all Aussie men. That was what I was trying to say. It was a feature.
It's a feature.
You know, like
that you noticed that particular feature.
Should I just start burying myself?
Yeah, you want, I got 2 shovels in the garage. Just keep digging.
Like so and so has such and such, but it's just it was a feature. I didn't mean it as every time we bump this.
Yeah, I just noticed the same thing too.
I was just saying that their eyesight was a little bit more narrow. I didn't actually mean anything by it, but whenever I said it, I thought everybody would think that, and they didn't.
Well, you know, it's funny. You were just talking about the lifetime fat thing, which kind of became like a little stingy joke between us. But I thought the best way, you kind of codified that for me better than anybody. Was like, one time you said, I feel like now that I lost weight, it was like being fat was like I woke up from a bad dream where I was fat and now I'm back to normal. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's funny. That gave me your perspective. I'm like, oh shit, that's weird because I feel like I'm in a dream and I'm worried I'm gonna wake up and be fat again. Like, right. So it was that flip, like that spoke to me so well. I was like, oh, I totally get where we were disconnected on that now. It just makes so much sense. And it was like, it never bothered me after that. Like, I didn't feel like we were just jabbing at each other at that point. But initially it was like, oh no, there's a difference. There is, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to make a case, and like, it's just because the total, perspectives of where we're coming at. It's so weird the shit that you kind of discover by yourself too along the way. Like I don't know, I was going to talk more about this on my channel, or on my video, but I used to think that a lot of my issues and social situations and stuff came from me being fat. And we talked about that quite a bit through our journey. As I've been doing more work on me, I realized I think that being fat was a symptom of other things too. So I think all that stuff actually came from a deeper level, and I just thought it was because I was fat, but the fat was the thing masking the real root problem of some of my mental, gymnastics I got to do now that I'm a grown up, and all this crap that went on when I was a kid. So I thought that realization just came to me recently, and I was like, oh shit, that kind of changes everything. You were kind of right about all that stuff. It wasn't about me. I wasn't being blocked up because I was fat. I was being blocked up because I had this other bullshit going on underneath that I thought was because I was fat, right? So crazy the things you learn.
Yeah, it can be scary when that gets taken away from you.
Yeah, when that crutch is gone, because
I had a friend that I was working with that he was the guy who kept saying, I met this guy at work. He's just like you. He's Phil. And one of his buddies, he got the surgery, and then I kept trying to push him towards it, kept talking to him. And I go, well, I'm like, are you going to do it? Like, I keep bugging you, and I feel like I'm just nagging you. Is this something you want to do? And he finally said no. He goes, it's not something I want to do. I go, really? Why not? He goes, well, just the way it sounds like my life would change and the activity involved and all. I just don't want to do that. Like, I'm happy enough where I am. And it's like, okay, cool. But I feel like you should have that conversation with people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't want to. So we have a lot of friends in the community, and so when I talk about these things, I don't want anybody to think about anybody specific necessarily, especially friends, although I can think of very specific examples of people who are not friends per se. I think people, and I did this for a while, and this may be different for you, so I'll be interested to see what you say, but I would say you're never going to be normal. You're always going to be a weight loss surgery person. In other words, like for me, it's like there's a girl who I've been started to watch recently, who's a big fan of ours, and she just recently started on her own journey. She says, my obesity went into remission, and I thought that's a really good way to think about that.
Yeah.
But is that the same for you? Do you feel like your obesity went into remission, or you just?
No, I mean, I still have that fear. Anytime the scale creeps up, I have that. That's something else that's new. So remember, I used to be anti-weigher.
Yeah.
I weigh every single day, sometimes twice a day.
Wow.
Some of that is making weight for a fight or a competition or tournament. So that's some of it. But even if I'm not doing that, I weigh every day. And it's not that I'm necessarily freaking out about the number variation. It's because it lets me know, because I have set numbers in my head. So I got certain set numbers that if this happens, then I need to start backing down from this. So like, let's say if I get to 225, 226, somewhere in there, not a hard number, but somewhere in there, I got to start backing off carbs a little bit. I got to start backing off sugar, or I can up the exercise. I got to make some small change. Whenever I hit 230, that's it. Oh, full breaks. You cut out carbs, you cut out sugar. I understand it's just a quick thing. And then I pull the weight back down, and then I can, kind of go back about it. Now, some people say that's yo-yoing and it's bad, and which it could be, but it's better than being 300 pounds.
I'm going to say that I think I came to this realization just recently. We were talking about this a little earlier, that I cannot do maintenance light. In other words, and I think, and the reason I noticed it was when I went back and watched all my videos, I was very specific and intentional about, if I get this weight, this is what's going to happen. If I get this weight, this is what's going to happen. As I see it coming back up, this is going to be my red line. And I looked down, and then I watched the 2 years where I started going through my divorce and selling the house. And I'm not saying these aren't legitimate reasons to have these stressors and regains. I'm not beating myself up for that. I understand why it happened, but I made excuses along that line to excuse away the weight going up. And by the time I got to the end of it, I was so exhausted. I didn't have the discipline to just be like, all right, that's it. Boom, like you're talking about. That's a number. It's time to go back on hardcore. I tried to do maintenance light. So I'd go down a couple pounds and then I'd come back. Because I was trying to live a normal life on the side. Like, I'll be good for a couple weeks. And then, okay, I came down. I can go back to like hanging out at the girlfriend's house, having drinks and parties and stuff with people. Nope. Diligent until you get back to your goal weight. And then you can slowly let the gas up a little bit. But so funny. And that's going to be my life forever. I can never be maintenance light. I got to be maintenance, or I got to be in full-on loss phase. And it's just, that's how it is.
Yeah. And for me, it depends on what's going on. I allow myself different. That weight will fluctuate a little bit. I don't know. For me, you have to be long-term successful. You have to have something that requires you to maintain a certain level of fitness. So, like for you, lifting weights, you have to maintain a certain level of fitness. For me, jiu-jitsu, I have to maintain a certain level. Like Tanya, she does the step stuff, right? Yeah. She has to maintain a certain level of fitness to get enjoyment out of it, right? You're doing it because you enjoy it. When you start any physical exercise, you do it and it sucks. You're just doing it for the benefits. But at some point, if you stick with it long enough, then it becomes you just do it because you enjoy doing it. And I want to lose weight and eat healthy because I want to
feel like this.
I want to get the best possible results out of what it is I'm doing. I want to have the most fun. I want to roll for the longest. I want to do the most number of push-ups. I want to be able to do 5,000 steps in a class. It doesn't necessarily at that point have to do with the weight. Right.
So you get
the weight. You have to get rid of the weight so you can do the shit you actually want to do. But it doesn't have to be that. I mean, it could be anything that requires that. If you want to parachute, if you hang glide or whatever, if you want to bungee jump, if you want to
zip line,
hike trail, if you want to zip line, something that requires you to maintain a certain level of fitness.
Because there's shit I did this year I couldn't have done if I had not stayed under 250 pounds. We talked about this. We back in the day, we talked about the whole world is built for people 250 and under. 250 is like the top. Ladders, chairs, plane seats, everything. That's all 250 or under. And I just realized that, I wouldn't be able to go ziplining with my daughter. I wouldn't have been able to go kayaking all day. I wouldn't have been able to go to the cenotes in Mexico and hang by my own arms, hang my body weight over a canyon over water and drop down. I couldn't do that crap before. Yeah. And I saw heavy people out there at the resort, the cenotes thing, and they were too heavy to hold their body weight. And we're scared to even go near the thing because they're like, I'm gonna step off that thing, realize I can't hold my own body weight, and I'm gonna fall straight down like 30, 40 feet into the water. But still, yeah, it was crazy the amount of things I've done in the last 5 years that I couldn't do. Indoor skydiving was my goal thing for me, and we did that. I mean, I was around 210, 215 when I did that, and that was awesome. Couldn't have done that 250 or higher. No way, no way. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, now I just do. I don't think about that.
No, yeah.
Anymore.
But you keep I keep going. You're right. I keep going to the gym. And the other thing is, I will say, if you are working out religiously and you are like in where you have to go, like if you don't go, you feel like jacked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does afford you the ability to have a mistake here and there and not pay for it. Yeah. The problem is you start relying on that, and that's when you get in trouble. Eventually that road ends. So
well, and if it's physical activity, because it could be something. It could even be modeling. Yeah, it could be anything that just requires. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a physical thing. Yeah, yeah.
But
or like a physical activity.
Yeah. You just have to stay with that. I was gonna go somewhere else with it, but I forgot. It's the altitude.
Well, it's the altitude. So let's talk about the mental health side of this thing.
Yeah, it's so it's a roller coaster. You start out who you are and who your convictions are, and everything's good. And you go to the seminar, and they tell you, make sure to shore up your relationships. Make sure to have the discussions with your friends and your other family. Really look at how this fits in your life. And you're like, I'm good. Me and the wife's solid, me and the buddies solid, me and the family solid, work solid, everything's solid, nothing to worry about. Like you just kind of skim over that part. But I assure you, no matter how good things are, they'll be affected. I mean, it might be that you do something horrible, or it could be that the other people in your life just can't accept the changes because you change, you become a different person. So, and then, then you just go off the deep end. Your version of the deep end.
Everybody.
Some people have a deeper deep end.
Right.
So it depends. But you're gonna go off the deep end a little bit, off the rails. It's going to be impossible to do. You can't actually take this advice, but don't make any major changes for the first year at least. If you can, wait 2 years.
That's true.
But definitely for 1 year, don't do anything. Don't do anything.
Yeah, you kind of
any changes, outside. If it's not surgery related, health related, don't do anything.
Yeah. You got to be super selfish. I get it.
Yes.
To get the goal, you have to be hyper selfish, but that means it's on you to also communicate to if you have a partner. Much easier to do if you're single, I'm sure, and even to some of your friends. But you don't owe your friends everything. But your close friends, I'd say you just got to communicate. Nope, can't do that because I got to stay focused on this. I got a 1 year window to really make this thing work the best it can. And we'll come out the other side, it'll be fine. And I had all of those things affect me. I had relationships that affect me. I had friends. I had like all of the things you talked about, every single one of them. I had them all. Same as my kids. My kids, I could do more stuff with them, which was good. But
yeah.
I had all those things. And
I just asked Emily, do you remember?
Yeah.
So like, no, I don't really remember it.
She said, I don't remember my dad being big. I mean, I do remember.
Probably remember all none of the process.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Really. And and I know I was divorced from my wife for the majority of when she was really young anyway. So when we got back together before we got divorced again, for her, I think the norm was us being apart. So it wasn't such a big thing. I'd be interested to see what Jake says about that because he's a little older. Just see if he remembers all that.
I think he would have been more involved in it. Yeah. But Jake, he wasn't affected by it if he did.
He's a very centered kid. Yeah.
But he's a man now.
He's a man. That's true. Yeah. Well, it's funny because all his friends, I was telling TJ, all his friends came over last night, and I love hanging out with those guys. They're fun. I mean, they're kids to me, but they're all adults now. They're all in college. God, such good guys. They're so fun.
We should talk about that. So where are you? Like, where is it? Like, how much has life changed? Like, what was the journey?
So So I set the stage by saying I was pretty much sure I'd be dead in 10 years, or in serious medical. I'd have comorbidities at that point. I was avoiding them all, but I'd have them by then. I'm
going to just keep shaking the camera.
That's okay. But that's the problem. We were going to record things, like I said, we thought live would do better. So this is the cost of live. But God, man, I set out with just I got to last 10 years to I got to take care of these kids, and I got to be a good husband, and I just got to do for everybody else. My needs don't really matter. But the plus side is, or the downside, the negative is, all of a sudden you realize your needs do matter, and that you should have at least, you don't have to be number one, but you should at least be number two. You don't have to be number 27. And that's that selfish piece that comes in that starts to mess with a lot of relationships. But it made me really look at my life and go, what do I want for the rest of the time I got? I mean, I did this late in life. I did it in 42. I'm 46 now, so I'll be 47 this year. So what do I want to do with my life? Like I missed out on all the crap you could do in your 20s with no no serious side effects.
Right.
Like I can't do all that stuff, but how much can I do? And what stuff is just closed off to me even still? So I've had a lot of that kind of emotional back and forth with it. But you know what? I moved to a smaller house. I got down to a 17-year loan. I paid everything else off. I mean, that was all part of my goal of being able to do things. Like I always say, experiences, not things. And I think I've very much made that my life. Like I want to have experiences, not things.
Right.
And so I structured my life, not on accident and not easily. To do that, it took a lot of determination and work. And part of that never would have happened without the weight loss and having that kind of, very strong conviction to working hard for a long, long time. And it's been work since I started to today. It's still, every time I eat, still something I think about, still something I got to be like, I can't do it passively. I have to do it very actively. I have to think, okay, I'm having this, so later on I got to do this. And like it never stops. It's never gonna. It's just never gonna. So if I want to have those things, I got to do it. And you know what? I'm on the bad side of it right now. Like I said, I think I'm over by about 10, 15 pounds. We'll see. And I'm pissed at myself that I let it get there, but I'm giving myself enough grace to go back and look at, okay, here's where you started making excuses. Here's why. Those are legitimate reasons to make excuses, but that's over now. So no more. Like, and I think the last year I've kind of been limping in, trying to fix it, but not really. And now I'm like, that's it. Like, got to cut away for the fighting.
I've seen a few people, because I kind of went back through and looked at just people we knew. I don't know anybody new. If your surgery was done less than probably 3 years ago, I don't know anything about it. I'm guessing, just because that's about when I checked out. But from our friends and our generation, our group, our class. That's the word I was looking for.
We finally settled on, yeah.
It seems like it is true to the statistics, 50-50. I'd say probably 50% did well, 50% didn't do well. I'm not saying they still can't, but where we're at right now, the 5-year mark or some longer, didn't do as well, and then some did. Some were surprises. One person to me that was a surprise was Gooch Monster, that he's still thin, because I remember
he's super thin.
I remember seeing, and like I don't know, we don't converse or anything. I just saw a couple of pictures on his Facebook. I remember he was like, I don't remember how far out he was. Like it's 6 days he hit goal or something. And then like day 7, he was eating poutine every day for every meal. I'm like, there ain't no fucking way this guy is going long term with this. It's not happening. He's going to regain no, man.
I've seen him eat too,
and then you look
at eat,
Pete. Oh my God. Pete, I can't say enough about Pete. Like if you see pictures of Pete, his pre-pictures, I can look at it. I can see it. It's like a head, a glowing white albino head, and his body, his belly like went down to his knees.
It's like a Michelin Man kind of body.
And I'm not very short looking legs or something.
Yeah, just very.
Like now look at him.
I know.
Holy
freaking crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
No, he's killing like never before. Like he probably had to buy way more freezers for all those bodies. Like when he was fat, he had one freezer full of bodies. Now he has like
10 or 12.
Oh, probably. He probably has one of those Connex boxes, and he just refrigerates it. I'll bet if you go to his house in the backyard, there's a Connex box with the box on the side with cooling
refrigerator. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. He thought you were getting away with just compliments. You knew that wasn't gonna last.
But no, yeah, he stuck with it. Jeffrey Harpridge, the guy was I nice to anybody ever?
I don't think so.
Because he was Hannibal Lecter.
Right.
But he's done pretty well. Like he seems to be about where he always was. Yeah. Like he lost to a certain extent. Did he get super thin? No. But he did his weight loss and he stayed very your average dude. Anytime I've seen
a lot of people. Yeah, like who really has come back swinging hard and I think looks amazing. Like is Lacey. She came back, man. She's got really good guns now and everything. Well, you do have that effect on people, but
I'm blocked by more people than anybody on the internet. I guarantee you.
She's come back with a vengeance, and you know what? The video she just made, I was like, holy shit, man. She's like, it's like she was like talking straight to me. I just had this kind of epiphany, and then boom, her video shows up in my feed. Like I'm talking like maybe within the hour.
Did you say it out loud?
And I was like,
did you say it out loud?
Summoned her out loud.
I'm telling you, no. If you say shit out loud, it pops up.
Dude, you are being monitored. I will tell you a story about this.
I am telling
Last night, the kids
I was taking a shit, and I'm serious. I'm taking a shit. My next advertisement on Facebook was for toilet paper. Tell me how the fuck that happens. It could be coincidence.
It's not. They've already proven it's not.
Okay.
My kids were talking about I'm talking about some really weird, like board game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to be in the room last night waiting for them to get off my TV so I could finish watching Sneaky Pete because I was down the last episode for this first season. And I opened my phone this morning, ads in my feed for that.
I told you about the Dodge Ram. Me and Jay were driving to dinner or something. We were driving somewhere. I was like, I'm really thinking about getting one of those new Dodge Rams. My Facebook feed or even on like Yahoo, it's like Ram truck. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, but Lace came back and her attitude was awesome. She looked as clear and like focused and as like in good physical shape as I've seen her in a long, long time. And I had dinner with her in Denver, maybe like a year ago, and she looked even better now. Like I was like as far as like, I don't mean better like just physically, but I mean like better holistically. She looked dialed in. She looked very solid and I was like, yes.
Yeah, well, and I think that once somebody finds that mix for them, and that's the thing, man. You can't like we used to pace ourselves after people, right? Like you find somebody who was similar weight and all that, and then you would try to measure your progress against theirs. That was a very common thing. I don't think so, because I think for some people it's diet and certain physical activities. For some people it's just getting in a better state mentally. For some people it's a keto diet. For some people it's maybe a high carb diet. Some people it's going vegan. Some people it's going pure carnivore. And like everybody has their thing. You should try it out.
Your thing.
Find your thing. And I think that's where I fucked up whenever I would discount the advice that people were giving out. Right. It's like, well, it didn't work for me, so fuck you. You do not have a relevant point. Right. But really, it's like, just because it didn't work for me, it obviously worked for somebody because it's out there.
And I think that, and again, just because I'm not mentioning names doesn't mean other people haven't done great. But I mean, I think Lacey's a good example, and some other folks that we know who gained a bunch back and then went, oh, hell no. And they came right back. And I'm like, that little shocker put them back.
Yeah.
And they're healthier, better looking people as far as, like I said, holistically than I've ever seen them. And that means you can do it. And 5 years, why do we make a big deal out of 5 years is because 5 years is that mark where they say, if you can make it to 5 years within X percentage of your goal, the chances of ever going back 100% are so slim. They're not impossible, but they're so slim that you will get back to that unhealthy, super big weight that they're almost negligible. So it's always been a hard drive to 5 years for me to prove to myself I could stay there.
It was that way for me, but I
think you hit a little earlier though. I think you could have found it,
I found, and really for me, now it's not the case for everybody. But for me, it took stepping away from the community, because to me, I got caught up in all the community stuff and, weighing myself against other people and some of the, just the crap that goes on. And like, to me, that wasn't positive for me. Like, it was good for a while, but then it was no longer positive. And I didn't have a story to share. Like, I didn't have anything new. Other people were sharing the same information. So I just didn't have anything new. But when I stepped away from it and I just started living life, like, I was not a weight loss surgery patient anymore. As long as I stayed in it, I was a weight loss surgery patient.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But every time I have to tell somebody that I lost weight through weight loss surgery, I become a weight loss surgery patient again.
Yeah.
They go, I lost 152 pounds. Oh, really? How'd you do that? Well, a lot of hard work, diet, exercise, and I had surgery.
I've said this so many times in so many videos. I was just watching all my videos again. That really bothers me. Yeah, I don't like talking about it either for that reason, because if anybody's watching this will know, or if you're pre-op, you just know that stigma's coming. It doesn't matter, because I would have gone back in time and done this 20 years earlier. Even with that, even if every day somebody did that to me after doing it, I don't care what they think. It's about realizing that I have had life experiences I never would have had. I've had emotional insights, mental insights that I never would have had I not done it. I was such a different person between the ears as well as, outside. So crazy, man. And then the mental health piece, I think, so I think some people get in denial too, though. Like, I think not so much our folks, but like, I've seen people out there who, I was making excuses for those 2 years, but I start seeing people make excuses for why they throttled down early, and I see them start drinking a lot earlier than they should. And we should probably talk about the whole alcohol, other substance thing because I think that plays a big piece into it. I think it's another escape. It's an escapism.
No.
And even I've been guilty. I was guilty of doing it for those 2 years that I was talking about,
Yeah.
where I was just drinking more often and sometimes just at home because
Yeah.
I just wanted an escape. I wanted to take that stress and pain off or whatever.
I think some of it is just it's a good time. Like you're feeling good because you've lost all this weight and you have this amazing body. Do you have an amazing body? No, I'm telling you right now you don't.
Yeah.
But compared to the one you had, you feel like you have an amazing body. So you're feeling good, you're partying, but your surroundings are not. This party is not happening around me. Like how I feel and what I'm experiencing are not the same thing. So you start cranking that party up. You start drinking. For me, it was lots of pills, lots of weed, lots of alcohol.
It was just more and more alcohol. Like I'm not saying I ever got to where I was like, oh, I need to get a 12 step, but I was aware that there's no reason for me to be drinking tonight. I got to not do that. Yeah. And then 2 nights later, I'm like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Like,
it's just keeping that party going, keeping that feel good going.
I feel so good. I feel wanted and desired and attractive and I can be flirty and it's fun. And even if I'm not crossing the line, it's still like, ooh, I get all the excitement of it. And you're amping the party up and you're going and like, yeah, this is great. But it gets you off the goal of like, pretty soon you're not going to see goal because you start that party too soon. That will take over and you'll start making excuses to keep that party going, I think.
Yeah, what did they say? Like a year? You should wait a year before you drink.
Yeah, probably should.
I mean, if you can.
If you can.
I don't know. I mean, it's just remember I said once in one of the videos you got to pay the toll. Like you took the ride, now you got to pay the toll. So you could do anything you want, but at some point you're gonna have to pay up for that. So it's not a free ride. And it could be paying atonement, or it could be losing people maybe that you didn't want to lose in life. It could be a lot of things, but there'll be a fee for those overboard times.
Yeah, and you're gonna face things that are emotionally hard, mentally hard, and if you're already in a altered state, I guess would be the good word, you're gonna start going back to bad habits. I think, at least I did. I mean, there were times where I did it. So be aware, be concerned, be cognizant of, I guess is what I'm saying. And we talked about stop making excuses, look at yourself, or listen to somebody who does look at you. And says,
I mean,
hey,
you have to look at.
Like if you called me and said, hey man, every time I call you, every time we talk, you seem like you've been drinking a little, you seem like you're going out a little too much, seems like and then getting on the video making an excuse about why you're not dropping weight. Well, you know why that is. Like if you said that to me, I'd be like, he's right, but if somebody off the street came and you don't know me, you don't know my journey, eat a bag of dicks.
You're not my boss.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Bad diets after weight loss surgery.
Yeah, I mean, everybody does them, right? I mean, you'll always be chasing something a little bit better. I don't know. It's hard as long as it doesn't hurt you. I mean, you can try it. I think keto is a fad diet. I think intermittent fasting is a fad diet. I feel like there's a diet and then there's a diet. The diet is what you do every day and you'll just do it forever for the rest of your life. And then you have the diet that is short term. So if you are going to do a fad diet,
make it a lifestyle.
Well, or just say I'm not making it a lifestyle and go, I'm going on this diet just because I want to lose 20 pounds for whatever reason. Got a wedding, just staying on summer, got whatever. I want to see my dick again, so I want to lose 20 pounds. Whatever your is, and you just accept, okay, I'm gonna go on this diet, I'm gonna go down. You can't go into a fad diet saying I'm gonna do this forever.
Yeah.
And stop jumping, like take some time, research it, study it, make sure it's something you want to do. Yeah. Now, for some people, fad diets become a way of life.
Right.
Like the biggest thing with keto type diets and intermittent fasting, I know a lot of people that's just there. And I guess they don't call them diets, they call them protocols. It's an eating protocol. That's the new thing.
I just call it the way I eat. I mean, it's kind of become my thing now. Like, okay, this is what I eat. This is why I eat it, because I feel better. I get results. I don't get cravings. It's the best solution for me. It's just not. I'm not saying it's perfect for everybody. Kind of like what we talked about earlier. It wouldn't work for you.
And so here's the thing. So for me, I eat whatever I want. I restrict nothing. And the way I can do that is I work out to absolute failure 5 to 8 times a week, 90-minute sessions. And when I say failure, I don't know how to express that properly.
You just can't give any more.
I can barely breathe. Every muscle's fatigued. I have a headache. I couldn't think if you asked me a decision. Sometimes you feel like you're on the verge of passing out. Sometimes you're puking. I do that every single session I get to that.
That's athlete level. That's just
but I do that, and then but my reward for that is I can eat anything I want. If I decide I want to go eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's, I can. Now, could I eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's every night? No. Well, maybe I could, but no, I don't think I could. So you can do that, but you have to offset it. If you want to go up in calories and up in carbs and up in anything, then you have to go up in exercise. But you should also go down. So if you're not doing a lot of exercise, you go down in carbs and down in calories and down. The thing you don't ever want to do is the opposite of those. So never go down in food and up in exercise, and never go up in food and down in exercise. So as long as you keep that opposite, or you don't go opposite. So you always food up, exercise up.
Right.
Food down, exercise down.
That's been my big challenge. Yeah. I think being back on the losing regiment, the working out has been a challenge to hit all 5 days at the level I normally work out. So I'm not trying to increase, because I know I can't increase with less food, but even maintaining, I'm feeling like you're talking about. Like I get home, I can't make a decision. I just want to go sleep at 5 o'clock, and then I eat my dinner meal and I sit here for an hour, and I kind of get a little energy back, and I can go do my shopping, whatever. But by 10 o'clock,
and you're 50. And like this last week, I hit it hard because I knew I was coming on vacation and I'm drained. But now let's look at the people who that didn't happen for. Look at Kirk. He stayed thin.
Yeah.
Kirk's only working out is lifting his drink to his mouth.
Right.
Or
other
things.
Yeah. His nighttime activity.
But he's done well. But I think he has this thing with he likes making his soups and this and that. So if your diet's on point, you don't have to have exercise. It's okay.
Yeah, you
can do weight loss, everything else with just diet.
Right. And I tell people, you can just, even if you want to have some exercise because you feel good, just walk. I mean, there's nothing. Nothing. Walking, never discount the power of walking. Let me put it that way. So
it's good, but I think you said 80% his diet.
His diet, yeah. And you can make it 100% if you don't want to do the exercise. You really can.
You can. You just got to be more.
You have to be very diligent. Yeah.
Diligent.
Damn it, diligent. God damn it. If you know our old FatKings skits, you'll get that one. Okay, the last one I really have, I want to talk about. Thing I've seen, and you probably haven't seen this, but I see people who start talking about revision surgery. And
I've seen a couple people on WS YouTube Addicts that have had several revisions, and there's an issue there.
Right, and I would say I'm gonna. This is here, and I have enough wisdom now to be careful how I say this. Yes. But there was a guy who originally started. His surgeon said, "We're going to do VSG first. You're going to get X amount of pounds off, because I don't feel like a more extreme surgery is beneficial at this point. When you get to this point, if you can get to this point, I will convert it over to DS for you, and we'll get the rest of the weight off." And you know what? That was the goal from the beginning. They monitor it. They recheck themselves at that point. Do we still feel like you go further with this, or should we redo it? That is a plan for revision. I've seen people too, like maybe they get the wrong surgery up front. Band is a good example, in my opinion. They get to a point where they're failing. Go into VSG at that point, gets them the rest of the way. I think that's great. What I would caution people about would be, you go on the thing, you get down, you're partying, you're happy, you start packing it back on, you can't get it back off. Oh, I'm going to have it switched over to RNY. Now my sleeve switched to RNY, whatever. Or I'm going to have some crazy surgery done in Mexico they don't even do. And now, if some reason think I'm talking about somebody specific, I'm just using this person as an example. I won't name them. I'm going to go down to Mexico and have some, surgery they won't even do in the US. And then they have horrible complications. And then they're like, oh my God, I never should have done this. Any thoughts on the whole revision thing beyond? I mean, I know you kind of said it, but yeah.
To me, if you can fail, I can see like if you went to the band to VSG, something like that, or you have a huge amount of weight, so it's a plan, like you said. And even some people who go, well, I know you're telling me I need RNY, but I'd really like to try the band. And if that doesn't work out, then we moved on. Now, I'm not saying don't lose anything on VSG, but I can see that progression. But if you're just going, like these people I'm talking about have very little loss, from what I can tell. From my limited exposure, they have very little loss, yet they're jumping from surgery to surgery. To me, is similar. Unlike him, I don't put things. I have not learned. To me, whenever you're jumping from surgery to surgery, it's like using abortion for birth control.
That is wow. That puts the point on. Yeah,
I know it's a little bit of an extreme.
There's a reason to have that surgery, but yeah, I get you.
It's like there's a thing for that. okay, I fucked up.
Like,
Whatever.
there's a condition for that, but yeah,
now if
not
now it's like, you know, I'm not even gonna use condoms or anything. If I get knocked up, I'm gonna go have abortion. And to me, that's what it feels like. I'm gonna eat whatever I want, and then whenever I get sick of it, I'm gonna go have another surgery.
Yeah.
Now, could I be completely wrong? Maybe, but I see a very small percentage of people.
Yeah, I think there's a mental. I think there is a mental component there that if you're like jumping, thinking that the surgery is going to fix it, that the last surgery just wasn't a good one or whatever. I mean, again, I would make the caveat for the band because I think we've seen there have been people very successful with the band, but there are very few of them. Yeah, Wendy's the one I know.
She's the only one I know of.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone else.
And she's killed it with the band. Don't get me wrong. Everybody else I know that had the band has had limited results and or failed with it.
And they come right back.
And then they feel like more of a loser, which I can see the mental detriment there. I think it makes sense to go to VSG. I think VSG is the smartest one from there. I can see people who got VSG and had like 200-300 pounds to lose, and they were like, no, I just want VSG, and they get to that point where they can't lose anymore, and they're like, shit, I should have listened to my doctor. Yeah. But I would caution anybody of saying, like you said, using it for like, I don't want to do the hard work. I just want the tool to do it for me.
Yeah.
That is not what this is about.
And like anything, there's exceptions. I'm not saying everybody that is the case. Yeah. It doesn't matter if I put that disclaimer. I already know you're going to hear it anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's just, but even though they're doing that, I don't think the community should shun them or stop supporting them.
No.
But I do think that when you see that happening, you might want to churn up reality a little bit. Because what I'm seeing is not people going, hey, listen, let's talk about this. Even if they're doing it in private, maybe, and I'm not seeing it. Usually it's, yeah, you go, girl. Oh, yeah. Like, they're very supportive of failure. You shouldn't be supportive of failure. You should help people get through failure, but don't support their failure. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have a very interesting insight on that. I think because, and this look at me now, I'll get shit. So you'll be a good company. We're two guys sitting here. Guys are very much about, well, yeah, that's gonna suck and it won't feel good. I won't have good feelings about that, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it's the logical right thing to do. To where I think a lot of the women in the community want to be emotionally supportive of somebody else because that's what they're good at, nurturing and being emotionally supportive. But I don't think that's doing some folks service. In other words,
it hurts.
I think it hurts them. Yeah. I think it really does take somebody to kind of go, look, man, I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but why don't you get back to this and this and this and talk to your doctor and blah, 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 blah. Look, you can find a doctor who will do any surgery for you. You should go down to Mexico, you can go anywhere. Like plastic surgery is a good example. I'll tell you, you go in for a consult, you're like, hey, and I did this. I'm like, hey, do you think and Lauren had already said this too. She's like, hey, do you think I can lose 20 more pounds before I come back into the surgery? You think I should lose 20 more pounds before we do it? Like, no, we can do surgery on Monday because they just want to get paid. They aren't concerned about the best result for you. And not only that in a bad way, but their job is to do surgeries. Like that's what they do. Like I can fix this problem, get you close enough. You're like, no. If you want the best result, it's got to be what's right for you. So I think that warrants some thought as well.
I don't know, man. It's tough. I just know it's a 5-year, like my journey was from, it started, I guess, South Dakota, Alabama. Alabama's when I started the journey. And then what kicked off why I decided to finally get it was I had back-to-back where I tried to get on a roller coaster. I couldn't get on a roller coaster. I had to do the walk of shame and get off of it. I was on a plane and I needed a seatbelt extender, and I asked the stewardess, and then they come on, oh, we need a seatbelt extender up front.
In row 1,
so I just stole that, so I didn't ever have to ask again.
Yes.
And there was one other thing, there's something else. I don't remember what it was, but there was like 3 things that were back to back like that. I was like, all right, I got to do something.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then so from there, then we get to Virginia, and then Virginia they actually do the surgery. And then me and you start talking about, I don't know if I do surgery if we didn't meet. Like if you were doing it too, I don't know if I ever do.
I think I would have made the mistake of going. Eventually, I think I would have finally I was getting close to breaking down about the band. I was right at that point. I'm like, maybe I got to do something extreme. Maybe that's the best thing. It seems the least invasive, which was totally wrong. But I didn't know about VSG. Once you told me about VSG, band was off the table. I'm like, nope, that sounds perfect. Yeah. Doesn't mess with the import, doesn't mess with the outport. Yeah. There's no foreign objects in my body, and no needles are involved to get changes.
It's not a horrible thing to have.
No, I just can't.
Yeah. And the tool's always there. Your stomach is just not going to stretch out.
Today at lunch, we had a really good lunch. I was sitting there, a burger in a bowl, basically. I was cutting it up. It got down to about probably 4 more bites. I wanted them so bad. I'm like, No, slide it over. You know what? If I want another one, I'll come back and get it next week.
You know where I start failing is whenever I don't do that. So I'll keep the plate there, and I'll keep doing whatever I'm doing, and then I grab a little bite, and then I grab a little bite, and then I grab a little, and then now I finished all this. So then I graze my way through a whole lot more calories. Yeah. And we talked about, both of us had those moments of regain, but I don't have an excuse for my regain. Like at just some point, I lost my will to keep going, and I just started eating everything, and I went from like 210 to 250 in a fairly quick period of time.
It's a good job.
But then I kind of, like you're saying, I kind of came back like gung ho, and that's when I got down to 199. So I went 250 to 199, and now I feel like I'm at a good weight. I'm at a healthy weight. I'm very active. I could actually stand to lose or gain a little bit, mostly a little more fat, I think.
Because you're both that solo now, yeah. You got that bodybuilder show body, but like that low fat where you really do feel like drained all the time.
And then and now I live in Florida. I got 2 grandkids. The kids moved down there, so they're down there, and I mean, like life's good. So it's like I can't, and I'm very active. I'm able to I put the floors in the house. I'm out.
Yeah, and you retired.
I retired. Yeah. So now if I want to go out and work on trees or a garden, I can, and I'm fine with it.
Can you imagine? Fat you now, like in this life right now? You just be sitting in the house.
No. Yeah, I would be done. So, I mean, my day. Here's the typical day. My active day is I get up at 5 o'clock. I go to the gym at 6. I work out from 6 to 7:30, and then usually I'll hang out. Sometimes I'll go get cryotherapy, whatever. 10 o'clock, sometimes I'll hit the gym again. Then I come home, and then I do all my work. I do whatever work, and then at night I hit the gym again. And I do that every single day. And then on Saturdays I'll usually hit like an open mat. But doing that is just part of my life. I love it. It's passionate. I'm not doing it just to be fit. I'm doing it because I really like it. And I'm able to do everything I want to do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
I'm just completely happy, content. Yeah. I don't have to worry about all the stuff. Now, I do have times where I still have that fat guilt whenever I feel like I've gorged myself. We talked about it. So like if I sit down and I eat anything, I eat a large amount of food and I get overly full, then I feel like I gorge myself. And one of the things I really like to eat is snap peas, the sugar peas. And I eat those, and there's like 20 calories in a whole big bag, and I'll eat a whole big bag of them sometimes, and I feel full and sick, and I feel like a gluttonous pig. And it's like, is that still bad to do? I mean, because you're not exercising self-control. No, there's no calorie hit, but you're allowing some of those to come back. Is that okay to do? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, you're feeling bad about
should I feel just as bad about gorging myself on sweet peas as I would on cake? The end result is not as damaging, but it's still.
But the habit is the same. Right. Yeah, that's interesting. No, that is interesting. I think that's like a coping mechanism, right? So like you're like you're saying, okay, I know I have this flaw about me, so in order to mitigate that flaw, I'm going to add a thing that's so low in calories that even if I fuck up and do that, I'm not gonna end up hurting myself. Which,
I mean, I'm being smart about it, but I'm still.
But you're mentally still abusing yourself too, though. So there's a negative side to it too. You're still doing the mental abuse. So emotional mental abuse. I don't know. It's weird. That's interesting. That will think on that a little bit. So
what's your 5-year advice to anybody who might?
My 5-year advice is, I mean, the amount of damage I did do as far as weight gain, regain, was very limited, and it was because as much as I was making little excuses on the way, I was still aware of the fact that I subconsciously even that I was screwing up a little bit. And so I think I kept that compressed. But the trick is, get in your head that you will never be normal. You're never gonna be normal. You're always a weight loss patient. Your obesity is in remission. It's a great thing, man. I'll definitely have to hit her up and remind her that I use that if she didn't watch this. And that's how you have to think of it. It's like it's cancer. It's like in remission. And in order to keep it that way, you got to eat right. You got to keep active. When you can't be active, you got to dial your food back. Or you got to own your crap. And when you do screw up, you can give yourself some forgiveness. Obviously, be good to yourself, which I'm not very good at. But you also have to have ownership and get right back on the horse and realize that even if you get to the 5-year mark and you're 30, 40, whatever pounds up, you can still turn it around. But you're going to want to get on that now because if you don't, it's going to just keep going. I knew 236 was a gateway to 240. 240 was a gateway to 245. I know how this goes. Like, I may not have ever gotten back to 3 something, but 250. The world's made for 250. Once you get there, you're pretty much it. Like you start.
Well, and you're gonna have to will yourself back from that.
Oh, and
it can be done. That's gonna take a lot of work
and a longer time too. You can maintain extreme behaviors, but for a long time it's tough, and you don't have the same. You're not working with the same. I don't know what it is in that first year about all your hormones changing and your body changing and your mental state and all that, but you do lose the majority of your weight really quickly in the first part of the phase, the first 6 to 9 months. And then the last 3 months is really just you powering through to get the rest off, I feel like. But once that's crossed, once that's gone, once you've gotten habits back in and you're aware you can't eat this and you can't eat that and you can't, it just becomes just as hard as back when you were 360 trying to get down to 350 or 350.
Yeah, but something else.
Maybe even worse.
Yeah, and something else I don't think that a lot of people keep in mind, WLS patients keep in mind, is a 20-pound, 10-pound, 20-pound struggle is a normal struggle. That's what a normal human being goes through. So
that's true.
We put more pressure on ourselves. Oh, fuck, I'm up 20 pounds. I'm a piece of shit. I failed the system. I this and that. I said, I know professional athletes. So I train, some of the people I train with, they fight in UFC. Some of them are in Bellator. Some of them are just professional jiu-jitsu guys. These are top level guys. And they fight. And they have that same battle with the same 10 or 20 pounds. That's why you see these guys doing these extreme weight cuts.
Yeah.
They don't even look like that. When you see somebody walk on a stage and they're just completely ripped up and stuff.
Yeah.
They look like that for about 15 minutes. They're cutting until they step on that scale, and then they rehydrate and they get food in them. They don't even look like that at fight time.
That's
so
crazy.
Don't measure yourself against those. But if you regain 20 pounds or 15 pounds or even 30 pounds in there, that is a normal range of just a normal human. That has nothing to do with you being a weight loss surgery patient or you used to be fat. That's just the struggle. That's where everybody lives in.
And I think that,
pounds.
and that struggle is harder when you're closer to your goal weight too. So that's the other thing you got to kind of take into account is like, I was consistently dropping 2 to 5 pounds every week during the beginning. I mean, easily I'd lost a shit ton in the first few weeks, but as they got closer, it was 2 pounds, about 2 pounds. Like if I could get 2 pounds a week now, that would be great. I mean, I'd be like, holy shit, I'm killing it. Like, and that's, and then I got to start worrying, but then I start worrying, oh my God, is it muscle? Like, I mean, because like, I don't have that much fat left on me to lose. So I'm giving up some muscle. I know that. Some muscle, some fat, but how much muscle? Did I cut too tight to the bone to where I'm just burning muscle? Or like, there's a whole nother thing to it. So I think you just got to be aware that you're going to lose slower and it's going to take, it's going to just take that same commitment though. So I don't know, man.
So I would think my 5-year advice would be, be unrealistic with your goals from the beginning. So, because whatever you think you can do more. So if you think, okay, I think I'm going to get to 250. I don't know where you're starting from. I'm just throwing these numbers out there. So you're going, I think I get to 250. I think I could lose 50 to 80 pounds. Well, let's say a doctor gets there. Then you go, well, no, but I'd really like to be 240 because these were the exact numbers I picked out. 240 would be amazing. And then I go, well, I don't see it ever getting there, but probably like 220 should be your goal. And I saw that a lot whenever we were going through the losing stage where people would uptick their new goal. Usually downtick, they would uptick.
Yeah, even I downticked. Yeah.
No, a lot of people would go, I've been at 160 and I feel good at 160 and this is my new goal, even though their original goal is 140.
Yeah.
And that usually means that you you did break down, but you got fatigued, right? That's attrition.
Oh, that's a great thing.
Is what it is, right? Yeah. So you need that. So just set your goal from the go. Understand there's going to be a lot of things that come up that you can't control. Realize you're going to do some bad shit that you're going to pay for. And it might just be simply beating yourself up for a long time. Surround yourself with a good mix of people. So you need people that will enable you. You need people who will coddle you. But you also need people who keep it real. Yeah. And those people come into play at different times. Just make sure you keep them around them.
Yeah.
And always try to keep an open mind. Don't discount things. Later on down the road, just understand it's a roller coaster because you're a human being, not because you were once fat. You're going to go up and down, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Maybe you get out of control and go 30 pounds. But that's just human nature, man. So that's just being a human. That's not because you're WLS patient. Now, if you're going 60 pounds, 80 pounds, now you fucked up. Now you got to start doing some soul searching.
I think, you have to have that come to Jesus moment. But the other thing, you mentioned two things I want to talk about. So I think, and again, I think this pertains to if you've had a lifetime of overweightness, more so, but not exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
The mental health piece, counseling. You get one friggin' vow with the psych. I think that there is normally, and this is my personal opinion, of course, but there's some baggage in the background that got you where you were, good, bad, and different. You just need to understand it, because this thing will be emotional. It will be mental. The journey is very emotional and mental. Again, just the hormones flooding into your system. You're gonna be way more volatile. You're more aggressive. As we were both very aggressive, and then we were very emotional. We were like, I mean, all the way around. And then, something that I was just watching today, the Fit Diva on Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm screwing up her name, but
Instagram is the first technology I don't know how to use.
Really,
it's my first one.
It's not super intuitive either. I had to I was constantly having Lauren teach me how to do it, but yeah. So this piece, I think you do get fatigued. You get WLS fatigued, and you will be WLS fatigued for the rest of your life. But it's just your world. And some days you're going to handle that better than others. Some days you're going to be on top of it, and some days you're going to be miserable. And it happens. That fatigue happens, and you got to find other positive ways to kind of like work around it. I haven't gotten that figured all the way out, but whatever you do, if it's a vacation every year, or it's a permission to take a break once every 6 months and have a week where you're not going crazy, but you're a little less stringent. Find ways to relieve that pressure, because it stacks and it doesn't help. So.
Yeah. I had something in there.
That's all right.
It was really good. It was life altering.
Life altering. You could have changed your whole outlook.
Your whole outlook. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to use Instagram though.
We'll talk about it. I can show you. Won't be very good. Lauren's laughing right now. She's watching, because she knows she's always giving me shit about how I don't do it right. But
so something else I was thinking about was the relationships over the years that stuck through the test of time that I thought nobody would be. So like one of them is Spoon and Waffle, and I bring that up first because it was Sarah Spoon's birthday yesterday or today, and
happy belated birthday.
I don't know if I'd said it, so
happy birthday, sorry.
And then the other Sarah,
and
Gooch Monster, Chris Gucci. Is he still Gooch Monster?
He's still Gooch Monster, as far as I'm concerned.
They stood the test of time. Who else do we got?
Jim and his wife, they met post WLS. He was
he was
way ahead of us.
Yeah.
So I always think of those together too. But I spent a lot of time talking to Jim, and Jim's definitely one of our brothers for sure. We are much alike, and I really see that relationship. And then I also think that of Kevin and Jennifer too, Mahoney. They were a couple before, and they lost weight together, and they are just those people meant to be together. They really stuck it through the whole way.
And then what about shit, I can't remember his name.
What was that?
The guy, the other fat king.
Walter.
Walter.
And Erica?
What was his? Was he Warrior?
Well, yeah, Warrior. Yeah.
Yes.
I just saw him in New York in person.
Wow.
I got to see. Yeah, it was great. I was so excited. Great. They're doing amazing. Oh yeah, they're
they seem like smitten in love at first sight.
Oh God, yeah.
Like they just seemed great.
You could tell the energy was there even before I think they knew it. So yeah, it was. I'm glad they.
And I saw Andrew, the other fat king. I saw he's back.
Yeah.
I didn't watch his videos.
He's mainly doing beers and stuff now. So
he's
yeah. He's quite the brewmaster, I guess.
I don't know. Mama Rose is still cooking along, but she's not a relationship. That didn't change. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's crazy. I mean, like Tanya and John, they worked their way through it too.
They did, but they were already. I was just thinking of new couples that came out.
Well, I mean, they were solid, but the weight loss thing really kind of shook the foundation. I've talked to John about it a couple times.
I think that does it with everybody.
Yeah, it really had to.
We had to go. A long time. I mean, we're still kind of coming out of it. I mean, to a certain extent. There's always going to be some raw feelings, and so certain things come up and from time to time. But it was a long road. It was a long few-year battle. Because it was like the 2-year mark, 3-year mark. I just lost my shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's you think it's over when you lose all the weight. That's actually where it really starts to get hard.
Yeah.
I think hands down the 3-year mark is the hard part. From that third year is tough. After you hit your 2-year surgery ratio, I got it all figured out. And then that's when life starts piling on, because it gets normal. You don't have that high of like, I'm getting all this positive affirmation from losing, and everybody's telling me how good I look, and that's just you now. There's people now in your life that have never even known you as fat, and you're not getting that emotional adrenaline bump or that endorphin bump of being told you look good and this and that and the other thing.
Right.
Life's just kicking your ass like it normally does, and then you start to kind of.
I still keep my fat clothes on the top of the top of the closet. So every once in a while, I'll take them out and I'll put them on just to feel it, just to go.
That's crazy.
Fuck, I was this fat. And I'll have to go find the picture that matches it, and I'll be like, no, I was this fat.
I wish I kept one pair of pants. I have one shirt that was 3X still.
I have one shirt and one pants.
I don't have the pants. I should have kept them. Yeah.
Yeah. And it
squeezing into 48.
It helps, but at the same time, you don't want to use that as an excuse. Oh, well, I might have gained 60 pounds, but I still lost another 60.
Yeah. I was in 34s at one point, and I think I'm safe to say I'm in 36s. I'm back to XL shirts, but more so across the shoulders because they feel large feels too tight, and it freaks me out. So now extra large is like this is a large
muscles.
It's all those muscles. I definitely I've changed the shape of my body quite a bit, but still it's not. I don't feel like I have that like.
And that's the body dysmorphia. So that was something that's new for me because I think Sarah Spoon was the first person to ever talk about that. I heard talk about it. And I didn't understand it. Like I didn't get what it was. And I just still never understood. But then now I have it. Like I still see myself as fat.
Yeah, I don't like I was telling people I never saw myself as fat as I was. I never saw myself as thin as I am.
Like, it helps to watch them fucking videos.
It does though, doesn't it?
Oh my god. Oh my god. My wife married me.
That's the first thing he said too when he started watching. He's like, oh my god.
Oh my god, look at me. I'm so happy that these are private videos.
I'll try and find a picture of both of us and put it in the end or something, but I can't because it's live. Never mind. So, yeah, you got anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
I'm glad it came out, and then I'm glad we made it through as friends the whole way through. And I mean, there were a couple of
shaky times.
We had a couple of close ones, but we came out the other side. It was all good. We went through some crazy shit together too, though. I mean, given the shit we went through that we don't necessarily share. I'm very. I mean, that says a lot about our friendship as far as I'm concerned. So
I feel somewhat sad that some of the friendships I had that they didn't
stay.
Yeah, it didn't stay. It didn't work through. But I don't know what is the reasoning behind that. Is it because we really never had a friendship in the first place and we were just both in the same spot at the same time? Is it what I mean? Like I don't know because very few of my WLS friendships stuck.
So I'm gonna float a theory for you, and so I think me knowing you before you started losing weight and had to be in that super selfish mode. Like I knew I don't mean it that way, but like your personality, the volatility of your personality, as far as like you can be acting like you're just gonna kill somebody, but at the same time I know that's just you're stressed out and you're like I know where that's coming from. I'm not saying you're not feeling that way, but like that's coming down. And I think a lot of people get exposed to that the first time when they're in a very selfish place. We're like, this is what I need, and this is what I want, and you're in that place too. And then your normal reaction to things comes in, and they think it's like super, super serious. Like they think it's like a 10, and I'm like, no, that's just a normal. But they think it's like a 10, and then they freak out and back away, and they want to put distance because they're like, that freaks me out, and I need to be in my own head, and I need to be focused about what I want. And I think that there's some of those people just, just for their own self-interest, just backed away from it.
See, he just enabled me to blame everybody else for that.
That's what I did. See, that's how I stay his friend. Focus the target on everybody else.
That's right. As long as it's not my fault.
All of those people are your enemy. I am your friend.
Don't listen to them.
No, and I think people still talk very, very well about you. People you don't talk about it or talk to.
Yeah, and it's not.
They're like, oh, it's TJ, but they're always asking about you. So they know you backed away and had to get away from it when you did. And I mean, you did physically pull away on purpose.
Yeah,
I mean, that's good. And you should do that when you need to do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you make those changes. It's a selfish process the whole way through. You know, I mean, you have to decide when it's time to move to different things. For me to progress in life, to progress with my weight loss journey, to progress with everything, there's certain things I had to just let go.
And I think that especially and I've seen this with a lot of overweight people, they're people pleasers because they want people to like them. And I don't know if that's necessarily your thing, but but a lot of people do that. So as you start to realize that your needs are not being met by doing that, you kind of do need to pull away and back away from stuff and start putting yourself first. And that can cause a lot of friggin' stress especially in old friendships, because people are used to you being the one that just, hey, we're gonna go to the club tonight, okay? And you're like, yeah, okay, we'll just go to the club, even though you don't want to go to the club or you want to go to the ice skating rink or whatever. Like you'll never say that, but now you'll be like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and then people will be like, what? Why don't you just do what we tell you you're gonna do, like you used to do? Like we liked you when you were fat. That's not what they're saying, but they liked you when you were submissive and like trying to please them. Yeah. And when you're not trying to please them anymore, they're gonna push back on you. They're gonna start challenging you.
And that could be that could be where it's at, because my WLS friends always knew me as a pleaser. like my friends, I didn't want to please. I didn't want to do all that stuff with the WLS people because I was very accepted. And I was getting everything. And
the admiration, and I feel good. I feel handsome, and
yeah. And then you know, so I wanted to please. And then once I was like, okay, I'm done with that, because you know how I am. I move on to the next thing very quick. All done. It just went away. Whereas people beforehand, they just knew, like you, just knew that's just how it was. So that's why those people. It's like some friends that I lost, they kind of came back.
You just got to your tank got filled up, and you're like, okay, turn off the pump, and I'm on my next thing. And that's and then to me that was very normal. I'm like, oh no, TJ's just on the next thing. I think for everybody else, like, he just abandoned us. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't like. You know, they felt that kind of pull away, and like, oh my God, you're such an asshole. Then they say that feeling, you know.
Well, and I'm more of a fly in to check by. Yeah. Hey, Phil, how you doing? You're like, good. What's up with you? And then I just never reply or anything. Like, that was my part. I just wanted to let you know. I was just
thinking about you. Yeah, and I think that's a good thing with us, like being a part. Like, it's funny because like you drop in, like I've seen you twice this year. I'm like excited and like oh my God, TJ's here again. And but like it's like nothing. We just pick right up. We start laughing about the same shit, same memories, and like. You know, telling each other stories, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there's just enough new stuff to catch up. And then we're like, oh, cool. And all right, man, I'll talk to you in 6 months or whatever. You know, see your birthday or whatever. You know, if it doesn't work out, then I'll see you at the next thing. So that's crazy. Yeah.
I think we ended there.
Yeah, man.
It's positive.
All right, guys. Well, hour and 25. That's actually shorter than I thought it would be. No. So,
well, it's because we didn't have any good guests. We used to have good guests.
Good guests. Yes, we had guests. We had everybody from around the world. We had guests from around the world.
We did. I still need to get down to Australia. Although, did you see? I know. This is a true FatKings show. We go to end it, and then I tangent for another 30 minutes. Did you see that Australia isn't real, and that everybody lives there are actors?
I did not.
Yeah,
they are good actors too.
The flat worlders say because for the flat world to work, Australia has to not be in it.
Oh.
And so that's the flat earthers' new thing is that Australia is just not there, and the people who claim to be there are actors.
I clearly need more therapy then, because I have a memory of being there and knowing people there and talking.
No, you're just paid off. You're part of the conspiracy.
Oh, I'm part of the conspiracy. Yeah. My check's coming?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Reparations.
Well, it is now. Now I'm in. If somebody doesn't send me a check, I'm gonna start talking.
I want to go down there and see. I want to go out to Mark's cult compound.
Oh my God, there's another guy who's done great. Yeah. I'm talking about, and that guy, he was the most huge. So Mark gets props because he was humility for me. He was like, he was doing it. He kept on his goals, and he built a life right after that, man. He was like, boom, I'm building this compound out here. I'm going to make this house out of tires and recovered things. And like, amazing. I'm watching that going, he couldn't have done that fat. There's no way. And he did that with his sons and his friends. And like, that's a life lived, man. And he would have never been able to live that life without this. So he's another one who did a good job.
And you know what? And it was an Aussie couple that I'm most saddest to have seen be a fatality of the WLS, and that was Sarah and Brett.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that they had a problem. To be honest with you,
they split. They split.
I did not know that.
Oh,
that would be terrible. I'm like, wait, Sarah and Brett. I'm like, no, that's Sarah and Brett. Oh my God, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, they were.
Bummer.
Yeah, Mr. Maynard. Yeah, so that I was really
because they were so good when she got.
They seemed like that was a
they were goofy.
And I hope I'm not bringing up sore subjects, and I don't know if either one will ever see this, but that's probably the one relationship where I go, man, I'm sad to see that. They both seem happy, you know, in their new relationships and all that stuff. Just like Spano. Yeah, he seems happy with his new chick.
Yeah, no, that's true too. I kind of do miss Spano. I mean, I wish I understand why he kind of exited stage left, but it was sucked because
he doesn't like you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, I kind of got when he got away from the VSG people, just because, like, it was kind of the demise of his. Not really, but it played a role in his. It works. It widened the gap, much like in my marriage. It did widen the gap a little bit. With it put a spotlight on the problems. Let's put it that way. It will put a spotlight on all your problems. That's the other thing. So you better be ready to deal with those at the same time. So
that would be my only sad. And I would like to know. I'm curious how Adam Shoup is doing. After we get done, I want to look it up and see.
I don't know if he did a kayak show later on YouTube.
Oh, did he?
And
how's he looking?
He was looking pretty good. Yeah, nice. He stayed pretty. And I think that he got that kind of like dad lifestyle, going with the wife, camping, kayaking down the like an active lifestyle. He got it.
That's what you're after.
Yeah. So cool.
All right,
guys.
We'll
end there. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I know we haven't done this in a long time, and probably won't do it again for a while. But 5 years coming up in July for
10 years.
And then we'll do the 10 years. We're both still alive.
5 years for me in September.
September. All right, guys. Till next time, remember, it's good to be the king.
The 15-second end.